shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Tracking Melissa. Just over an hour ago, the powerful storm made landfall in Cuba. A look at the hurricane's path and the devastation left behind in Jamaica.
And it's a cloudy, chilly start to the day today. A few isolated showers. I'll show you when to expect rain as we get through the day.
A father's confession. This morning, we'll get an update on the investigation into a man accused of killing his 4 children. The questions that remain about the tragedy in Johnston County. And pushing for solutions. Today, the head of the state's DMV will face pointed questions from lawmakers. The problems they are looking to solve within the agency. Those stories and more, we're following you here on this Wednesday morning. We made it to the midweek point. Thanks for joining us. I'm Renee Chu. Let's get up to speed with the weather with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, and a somewhat drier start than yesterday, but still very cool out there.
It won't feel quite as miserable as yesterday, where we had a good bit of rain. We had windy conditions and chilly temperatures. We'll have a little bit of rain and some chilly temperatures, so it's certainly still not feeling like the weather we had a few days ago. A little bit of light patchy rain from Fayetteville up towards Raleigh, over toward Wilson, Rocky Mount through Edgecombe County. That is lifting up across our area, but the system that's producing this is actually pulling away, and we're waiting on a second system that we'll end up seeing later today and tonight, which will actually bring us more rain. Some showers moving across Clayton, moving into Raleigh, Zebulon, back over toward Fuquay Varina, but this is very light and patchy this morning. Here's system number 2. It's still well to our west, but it rolls through with a chance of some rain overnight tonight, and we'll walk through that on Futurecast. In the meantime, during the day today, we're looking at about a 30 to 40% chance, just some light patchy rain, and then we'll talk about how much we'll see overnight tonight and how long it lasts into tomorrow coming up. A live look at Wilson this morning. The whirligigs are spinning around. Our wind is out of the north at 11, temperature at 49. We will see some breezy conditions as we get through the day. Right now, winds are steady at 5 to 10, could be gusting up to around 20 miles per hour later on. Our temperatures, just like yesterday, are cool in the mid-50s.
And Elizabeth, this morning we continue to follow the latest on Hurricane Melissa. While you were asleep, it made landfall as a Category 3 in Cuba, this being the second landfall here within the last 24 hours. Category 3 at 3:10 this morning near Santiago de Cuba with a 120 mile per hour maximum sustained wind. There's a look at the satellite imagery right now, and you can tell that the eye is closed up and it's interacting with the land there in Cuba. It'll emerge and then head toward parts of the Bahamas as we go throughout the day today. Now, as it does so, it'll finally start to encounter some wind shear, meaning the strong winds in the upper levels of the atmosphere that'll help to tear that apart. You see that in the blue. So our same system that Elizabeth was just tracking for you is going to help to guide it away from U.S. soil. But a historic storm in many ways, the third lowest pressure on record of any Atlantic hurricane. And Renee, this morning we're starting to get the first images of the destruction left behind.
We certainly are, Chris. Jamaica left devastated after Melissa made landfall there as a Cat 5 storm. Many tourists are stranded there, including some from our area. WRAL's Laura Levine is live at RDU this morning. Laura, you've spoken with a North Carolina couple who's hoping to get back soon after they were stuck in Jamaica on their honeymoon.
Renee, good morning. We are meeting so many people from North Carolina who are stuck in Jamaica right now, riding this storm out. Many of them hoping to get back as soon as it's safe to do so. But we know that they'll have to also wait to make sure that the aftermath and the cleanup and everything continues to be underway before they can catch a flight. So we did catch back up with Bridget and Wayne Todd. That's the couple celebrating their anniversary on the island. And Bridget gave us a look at how they're hunkering down in their resort room with mattresses blocking doors and windows and food stocked up in their mini fridge. They even have a pallet in the bathroom with a tub filled with water.
Definitely a lot of stress. I think it's more anxious than anything just because it's just taking so long to wait this out. We have a game plan. We have a go bag packed ready for us if we happen to need to leave our room. There is a stairwell right across from us that we could also bunker down in if stuff becomes unstable in our room.
So, of course, we're going to continue to check back in with them. When we spoke with her yesterday, she said that the next 12 hours would be very crucial. So we're going to check back in with them this morning. They had a flight originally booked for this weekend. Of course, that got canceled. So they rebooked for today. Of course, that's likely not going to happen. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live at RDU.
Laura, thank you. You can keep up to date on Hurricane Melissa on WRAL.com. Track the latest track and radar and read our story rounding up this year's Atlantic hurricane season. It is all right on our homepage. Today, we're expecting to get new information about the deaths of 4 children in Johnston County. Authorities say their father admitted to killing them. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live outside the Johnston County Sheriff's Office this morning. Kelsey, we will get an update later this morning about this tragedy that has just left the community heartbroken.
Yes, Renee, we're just hours away from that update from the Johnston County Sheriff's Office. Our cameras were there yesterday during Wellington Dickens III's first court appearance. He's facing murder charges after confessing to killing 3 of his children and his stepson. When deputies arrived at his home on Springtooth Drive in Zebulon, Dickens said his 3-year-old son was still alive, but the 4 other children were dead inside the trunk of a car in the garage. Deputies believe the children have been dead since May 1st. Neighbors say Dickens changed significantly since his wife died during childbirth last year, but they never expected that such a heinous crime could happen right next door.
My heart just breaks for the children and for the 3-year-old that's left, because he has no parents or siblings left. And it's just been very emotional.
The Sheriff's Office has a news conference scheduled for 10 o'clock this morning, and then Dickens is also expected to appear in court again later today. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Johnston County.
Today, the state's DMV will be under scrutiny. North Carolina lawmakers will question the agency's commissioner as part of a government efficiency hearing. WRAL's Ali Calabar is live outside the state legislative building this morning. Ali, this could lead to changes in how the DMV operates.
Renee, lawmakers hope that this hearing will just be another step in improving those long wait times at the DMV. Today, the House Select Committee on Government Efficiency is expected to question state transportation officials. They're asking what's being done to improve the DMV. Officials with the state auditor's office will also discuss recent audits. Those audits highlighted understaffing and overworked employees. WRAL state government reporter Will Doran explains why this hearing may result in some breakthroughs.
This isn't just on the auditor's office. State lawmakers are taking a closer look at this. The governor's office, who oversees the DMV, is also taking a look at this, trying to get some changes made. So this is a really multi-pronged approach coming at efforts to improve the DMV.
We know lawmakers have also passed legislation recently to improve operations at the DMV. That hearing is scheduled today at 1 p.m. WRAL will be there covering it. Reporting live in Raleigh, Ali Calabar, WRAL News.
More homes are collapsing into the ocean on the Outer Banks. 5 homes fell into the water on Tuesday. You're looking at video from Buxton showing one home being dragged into the ocean. 2 more are now at risk of collapsing as well. This is becoming more of a regular occurrence. Since September, more than a dozen homes in that area have fallen. Jennifer Kuntz is a photographer who captured this video of a home dropping into the sea. Kuntz says it is heartbreaking to see decades of history destroyed in seconds.
It's really crazy how just in a short period of time everything looks so different, and it's unrecognizable to anybody who, like, if you haven't been here since June and you came back, you wouldn't even think you're in the same place.
The State Department of Transportation is telling drivers on the Outer Banks to stay home. Roads are covered with sand and water, making it difficult for people to get in and out. Parts of Highway 12 are shut down because of the overwash. The North Carolina congressman whose seat is being targeted by a new congressional district map has filed a bill that would ban mid-decade changes to those maps. Democratic Congressman Don Davis sponsored the bill. His seat will likely flip Republican in next year's midterm using the newly drawn map. His new bill is almost certainly dead on arrival in the Republican-led House. It's unlikely to block GOP plans to gerrymander district lines in their favor in places like North Carolina and Texas. Davis's bill also has a loophole that would let Democrats in California to move forward their own gerrymandering plans. North Carolina's redrawn congressional voting map is facing another challenge. The group bringing the lawsuit says the map violates First Amendment rights of Eastern North Carolina voters. They claim lawmakers retaliated against voters for electing a black Democrat in the last election. We asked Republican leaders for a reaction to the lawsuit. We have yet to hear from them. This is the second legal challenge to the new map. North Carolina Attorney General Jeff Jackson is suing the Trump administration as more than 1 million people in the state may soon lose their SNAP benefits. Jackson wants the Trump administration to release $6 billion in emergency funding. He says states that are banding together have a strong legal argument. WRAL is staying on top of this story. Look for any updates on WRAL.com and on our WRAL News app. And be sure to turn on your push notifications. Nearly a dozen federal judges are now considering whether Oregon's National Guard should be allowed to deploy to Portland. Earlier this month, a 3-judge panel reversed a restraining order forbidding the deployment. Now an 11-judge panel is reviewing that decision. For now, the decision allowing the deployment is on hold. It is 4:41 on your Wednesday morning. Massive layoffs. 14,000 Amazon employees out of a job. Why Amazon says the decision opens up a future for technology. And we are tracking Melissa, a look at the damage left behind in Jamaica and its impact in Cuba today. We'll give you a live look at Fayetteville right now, and you can see the streets and sidewalks damp this morning. We are tracking the next weather maker. Elizabeth Gardner will show you the 3 changes it will bring ahead of Halloween.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
It is 4:45. Taking a look at dual Doppler 5000 radar. We do have just a little bit of light patchy rain that's moving in from the coast. None of this is heavy. It may just make for, inconvenient conditions as you're heading out the door this morning. It won't be as windy as it was yesterday, but it's still going to be a chilly, raw kind of day with a lot of cloud cover. We take a look at our rainfall chances. About 40% this morning, bumps up to 50% around lunchtime, and then down to 30% through the evening commute. But overnight tonight, it goes way up as another system comes in, and we'll walk through that and talk about how much more we can see and if it will affect your commute for tomorrow. We take a look at what you're experiencing as you head outside. It's wet almost everywhere, but we're not going to deal with any heavy rain this morning during the commute. 50 in Wilson, 49 in Durham, and 49 in Fayetteville. If you're walking the dog this morning, you might run into a puddle or two. We're starting with temperatures in the upper 40s, and we'll only climb into the mid 50s for this afternoon. Coming up, we'll talk about whether or not it all moves out in time for trick-or-treaters.
Elizabeth, thanks. Changes could be on the way for Wake County students when it comes to cell phones. A new proposal would require phones be turned off, and smart features would need to be disabled for smartwatches and smart glasses. The school board is considering changing the policy so students can still bring personal laptops to school for instructional purposes. The Wake School Board is considering making these changes to comply with new state laws, and the board plans to approve the changes by the end of the year. In Cumberland County, the school system wants to hear from you about plans to consolidate schools. This district is hosting community input meetings on the district school consolidation and redistricting study. The meetings are happening today and tomorrow. Parents can give their feedback on the future of schools in the district. The study takes into account more than $800 million in needed repairs and upgrades. Today's meeting is at 6 tonight at Jack Britt High School. The state superintendent of schools will be in Chapel Hill tonight to discuss his new strategic plan. This will be the last stop on Superintendent Mo Green's Achieving Educational Excellence tour. He'll be giving a presentation on how parents and educators can get involved. Some highlights include community engagement, career development for students, and teacher recruiting. The presentation is at 6 tonight at Chapel Hill High School. AI companies are facing increasing pressure to develop protections for kids. A bipartisan group of lawmakers wants to ban the use of chatbots by minors. The moves come as some parents blame the tech for pushing their children to hurt themselves. The bill would also create criminal penalties for tech companies developing chatbots that solicit sexually explicit conduct from minors or encourage suicide. Amazon is slashing a massive portion of its corporate employees, and AI is part of the reason why. The company says it is laying off 14,000 of its employees this year. That is 5% of the overall staff. This is part of the effort to get the company ready for AI technology. This is the largest set of layoffs in the company's history. Just about 90 minutes ago, Hurricane Melissa made landfall in Cuba as a Cat 3 storm. We are getting a closer look at the damage it left behind in Jamaica. The storm made landfall there yesterday as a Category 5 storm with 185-mile-per-hour winds. Raging floodwaters and life-threatening storms left thousands without power. Jamaica's prime minister says it is still too dangerous to do any search and rescue. As many as 25,000 tourists are stranded. Let's get a check on our local weather with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner there. And we know that there's some damp conditions, and we can see why there on the dual Doppler radar.
Yeah, we do have some light showers that continue to push in from the coast. The coastal low, of course, we saw the video just a few minutes ago, more homes falling in Buxton on the Outer Banks. This coastal low, of course, caused a lot of issues for folks along the coast. What we saw, of course, yesterday was some really raw conditions. It was windy, it was chilly, it was wet. It was just not a comfortable day to be outside. Some lingering showers this morning, but nothing terribly heavy. We're seeing some rain pushing across Wake County up toward Raleigh. Smithfield seeing a few showers, Goldsboro, Wilson, Rocky Mount, all the way up to Roanoke Rapids. This will fizzle out. It's not likely to stick around for too long. You can see as we go through the morning, it's going to be very light and patchy for us. Everything that we see today, it's just going to be a sprinkle here, a little light shower there, nothing really measurable. And then we're going to see another system approaching from the west, and that rolls in tonight. That'll bring us a little bit more measurable rain. By 8 o'clock, you can start to see that approaching our area, and that will pick up in intensity as we get closer to midnight and early tomorrow morning. Here's where that second system is right now, and you can see it crossing the Mississippi Valley, a warm front, a cold front along with it. No severe thunderstorms with this. We're not likely to have storms widespread with this, but there could be a few rumbles of thunder as this moves through. 80% chance of rain tonight, 40% chance for early tomorrow morning. And then how much more rain? Not a whole lot. Most of that will happen tonight. During the day today, what we see again will be pretty light and patchy. And Wilson, the whirligigs are spinning around pretty quickly. Our winds are out of the north at 11 miles per hour, and our temperatures sitting at 49. We're seeing steady winds at about 5 to 10, and we'll see gusts this afternoon up to around 20. Yesterday, we had gusts to almost 40 miles per hour, so again, it won't feel quite as windy as yesterday. High temperatures 55 in Raleigh, 53 Durham, 57 in Fayetteville, but that is still feeling like December. The average high for today in Raleigh is 69, and the average high for Fayetteville is 71. We get back a little closer to normal for Friday. Trick-or-treat time temperatures look great at 5 o'clock, 57, at 7 o'clock, 53, and we will end up seeing temperatures in the 60s for highs, 63 degrees for Friday. It should be a nice quiet weekend, and we're getting back closer to normal by Monday and Tuesday. Don't forget Saturday night, you have to set the clocks back 1 hour. Meteorologist Chris Michaels coming up in a few minutes to talk more about some of the impacts that we've seen from Melissa.
Thanks, Elizabeth. The saga returns. Twilight is making a return to theaters. When you can catch it on your screens, and what's happening in entertainment news. Seeing the 50 United States, a Dr. Seuss book was discovered in California. A look at the cover and when this will hit the shelves. A certain sparkly vampire is returning to the silver screen. Rick Damigella has that and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
Your skin is pale white and ice cold. Don't go out into the sunlight.
Say it out loud. Say it.
Vampire.
The Twilight Saga is back in theaters in honor of the 20th anniversary of Stephenie Meyer's first book. The 2008 film that started it all returns today and runs through November 6th, while the sequels roll out for 1 day each from October 30th through November 2nd. Locations and showtimes at fathomentertainment.com.
Right now, the only thing that matters is that there's a killer on the loose in our building.
They're leaving the building again. Hulu has announced it's renewing Only Murders in the Building for a 6th season. And for the first time, the main trio is heading overseas, investigating a mystery in London. The season 5 finale just debuted Tuesday.
The Beatles had broken up. And I was thinking, What do I do now?
Here's your first look at Man on the Run, about Paul McCartney's post-Beatles era as he formed Wings with his wife, Linda. McCartney is an executive producer on the documentary, which features rare archival material. It's set to stream on Prime Video February 25th after screening in select theaters. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
A newly found Dr. Seuss book will be released next year. It was discovered earlier this year at a library in California. Sing the 50 United States asks readers to learn and name all the states. The new book will feature the original text and cover sketch. It will be released in time for America's 250th birthday. Happening today, your kids can start trick-or-treating early. Durham Parks and Rec is hosting a trunk or treat event over at the Holton Center on Driver Street. Bring your kids in their costumes to the center from 6 to 8 tonight. There will be 30 cars with candy and goodies. Ahead at 5 on WRAL News, 4 children dead. A Johnson County man is accused of killing his 4 kids. The new information we could get from law enforcement today. And changes at the DMV. State lawmakers expected to question transportation leaders on an audit about issues with the agency, the key problems, and the work to fix them.